Hi, I'm Vicky. There's going to be a lot more ums coming. I wanted to show you all, firstly, my crop top I made. It's, if you can't tell, it's a watermelon. Let me show you. Yeah. I didn't mean to make these bits curly, but they came out pretty curly and cute. So, curls. There we go. Got a ringlet now. All right, secondly, I wanted to show you some beginner crochet tips. Now, if you're looking to pick up your first crochet hook and your first ball of yarn, I recommend to start with a chunky yarn and a chunky hook because it's easier to see the stitches. And another tip I have for you is to not start with black yarn. It's very, very hard to see the stitches. There's no contrast between the stitches, basically, unless you really know what you're looking for. It's really hard to crochet or knit with black yarn. So start with a colour or a non-colour. This is the chunkiest yarn I could find to show you. My crochet tips #1 video. Complete beginners wanting to start learning crochet. So, first things first is we start with a slip knot. Now, the easiest way I find to make a slip knot is to put the trailing piece of yarn here between a few fingers, wrap it up and around once. Now this dangly piece here, you can pick up your crochet hook. You're going to grab that dangly piece. Now you're going to make sure that it's sitting behind so that it makes a loop. You're going to grab it and pull it through the loop, and then you can tighten it. And that's the easiest way to make a slip knot to start your crochet project. Okay, now don't fight me on this. How you hold your yarn is also really important. Now, the reason I wanted to make these beginner crochet videos is because I found that the beginner videos that I saw online didn't quite cover the extra information and background knowledge, the assumed knowledge that seasoned crocheters just remember all the time. They know they don't, it's a natural habit. You just know exactly where in the stitch to crochet into or how to hold the yarn, all those kinds of things. But I found that, like, once I discovered all the extra tips, those other extra tips, I saw all the mistakes I was making from the beginning and why I was so confused with those super beginner videos where they just show you, this is how you make a chain, whatever, however you start. But I find that there's a whole assumed knowledge involved that you need to begin. So again, don't fight me on this. How you hold your yarn. There's multiple ways to hold it. But I find that if you kind of spool it on your pinky finger, it gives enough tension here. Okay, now I'm using jargon. I'm sorry I did that. did that thing that seasoned crocheters do and just start talking the jargon. Let me slow it down for you a bit. If you're going to hold the yarn just with one finger, you're going to have a lot of slack here. And it's going to be hard to keep the tension. We use the word tension in crochet and knitting. And that means how tight or loose your work is or the stitches are. And if you're holding it just with this one finger, if there's a lot of slack here and a lot of slack coming along, and you might end up being too loose. Then, sorry, I just remembered a joke about French city Toulon and Toulouse. Anyway, moving right along. So I do an extra wrap around my pinky to get a little more tension here, so it's not so slack, and that it spools along from my ball of yarn easily as I work along. Okay, so like I said, there's multiple ways to hold it, so you find out what way's comfortable for you, but there are ways to hold it that will help you with your work. Because when I was beginning, I was like, why is this so hard? Why is it so hard to make these stitches? But it was just, I hadn't found the right way to hold the yarn. Something simple as that. So I don't know other ways to hold the yarn. I googled ways to hold the yarn. This was the first one I found, and I was like, oh, okay, and other YouTubers are doing it. Okay, I'll do this way, I'll try it. So I find that one. Became a habit to just go boom boom, and then you can start your work. Now when you start your work, or the whole way through your work, you're going to hold it with your thumb and your middle finger. Oh, by the way, I'm crocheting the right-handed way. I'm a left-hander, but I have awful spatial awareness, so I can't flip things and reverse it. Flip it and reverse it. So I learned right-handed, and here you go. Here's the right-handed techniques for everything because I'm hopeless. Okay. Sorry if you wanted to learn the left-handed way. All right. So I'm going to hold my work close to the needle, hook, crochet hook, not knitting needle, crochet hook. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, this is a 17 mil crochet hook. Most work and most yarn, you'll probably only need a 4 mil, 4.5 mil crochet hook. They do most of my work. My most used hooks, probably the 4.5, 5 mil hooks. For a good, here's something I made earlier. For this kind of thickness of yarn, you'd do like a 4 mil hook in comparison to the 17 mil for the chunky yarn. So you want to adjust your hook size based on what yarn you've got. I made this for my mum. This is my mum's work from home desk, by the way. So I made a little pen holder for mum. Hope you like it. She likes the colour pink. There we go. All right. So you've got the right sized hook for the right sized yarn. You've got your slip knot. You've got your tension in your fingers. You're holding your yarn. You're holding it between your thumb and your middle finger near the hook to stabilize it. Now we can begin. The first terminology we're going to use is yarn round hook. So I'll show you from this way. So I'm putting the yarn around the back of the hook and wrapping it around. That's called yarn around hook. Now, it might seem more natural to wrap it around a different way or something. That's going to make a different type of stitch. So pay close attention to which way you're wrapping the yarn around the hook. That's another thing I didn't learn until ages later. I was like, why don't my stitches look nice and neat and even, and they all look lumpy and different? It's because sometimes I was wrapping the yarn around this way, and sometimes I was wrapping it that way. But, and then I make a big knot. So we want to, for the normal type of crochet stitches, we're going to do the yarn around the back. Because the other way I think is called yarn around front. Not like that. Yarn around front. But we're going to go yarn around normal way, around the back. So that we put the yarn so that it slips around the front onto the notch of the hook, so that you can now pull it through. Now the reason I've said to hold the work close to the hook is because you can easily steady it to bring it through. And that movement is called pull up a loop. So yarn round hook and pull up a loop. And that makes a chain stitch. This is how you start a foundation chain. If you want to work in rows in crochet, you start with a foundation chain. But if you're going to crochet in circles, that's different. That's a little different technique. So I can show you that next time. But for now, this is just how to do your foundation chain. So, what if I adjust the camera so that it's facing the right way? Okay, be right back. All right, I'm back. Okay. Oh, great job taking off my nail polish. Ignore that. All right, here we go. Now back to our chain stitches. I'll show you how to identify the stitches once I have a few more on the hook. So I'll show you the movement again. We go yarn round the back into the notch, and then we grab our work between our thumb and middle finger, and you pull it through like so. Yay! That's a chain for your foundation chain. Now, I'm using a ridiculously large hook, which I'm using so that you can easily see my stitches, but it's making the tension of the chain a little weird. Okay, so they're not all the same size, which as a beginner, I'll still claim I am. The stitches won't all be the same size. Okay, but as you get better at keeping your tension even, you'll be able to keep the stitches the same size as you go. So it'll just be, usually just the foundation chain looks a little lumpy because of my uneven chains, uneven tension in each of these chain stitches. But by the time you work back through them, it's usually better. All right, one more. Here we go. Oh, okay. So to identify the chain stitches that you've done, you will see. Let's see if I can twist it and find the V shapes. Find the V-shaped stitches. Oh, is that them? Is that them over there? I think that's them. So we've got these chain stitches. Now your initial slip knot does not count as a stitch. If you've learnt knitting before, you'll know that your slip knot does count as a stitch, but in this case it doesn't. In crochet it never does. So So don't count it, just pull it tight. The difference between, and I found out the difference between knitting and crochet is that knitting is made up of loops, whereas crochet is a bunch of knots. That's why it's so easy to drop the stitches in knitting, because they're open loops where these are closed knots. So now that we can see our knots, we can work back through them, back into them. I can't tell if I'm just not focused properly. Oh, there we go. Oh. I don't want it to focus on the background. I want to focus on this. Okay. Yeah. Find your first. So you work into the chain that you need. Okay, no, I'm just going to keep you. I'll end up using jargon if I talk like this. Okay, first things first. I'll do what they call in the USA single crochet, or what they call in the UK or Australia a double crochet. It's just confusing, but it's the same stitch. So we don't go into the first loop on the hook, we go into the second loop on the hook. Oh, what have I done? What am I doing? Let me do another. I'll just do another loop, see what's going on here. How many loops have I done? Ah, I shouldn't have shown you with such an awfully large hook. Alright, so we've got one stitch there, but we want to go on to the next second loop from the hook. Second chain from the hook. That's what you'll usually see in the patterns. Yeah. Oh, there's the V. There's the shape. We want to crochet into that. Now, the part of the stitch that you crochet into will change the way the work looks. That's what makes crocheting so versatile. But I just like to do a good old, I'll just go right into the V shape. And if your stitches are too tight, it's going to be hard to get your hook in when you go back through. Okay. So we're doing the yarn round hook, and then I'm going to pull up a loop. So just pull this yarn through that loop of that first chain, the second chain from the hook. And now we have 2 loops on our hook. I'm going to yarn round hook and pull through both of these loops, or make sure you go through both of them. There we go. There's the second loop, and that is called a single crochet in the US, or a double crochet in the UK or Australia. It looks awful on this yarn. Well, I'm going to do a different video for the different crochet stitches, such as the single crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, double treble crochet. And let me flip this. Oh, what have I done? How do I flip the camera? Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh no, you're falling. Bit sideways. Okay. Now I can see you again. Yes, I'll do another video with better yarn I'll show you some different types of crochet stitches, and hopefully we can learn how to be beginners together. Yeah, so I again just wanted to show you the cute crop top I designed. I made this watermelon crop top. This one fits a C cup, so if you're interested, it is for sale. $30. I say $30 Australian, but I don't know PayPal conversion-y things, so I'll just say $30 handmade. If you want it, first in, best dressed. And I also made a Santa hat version. I was inspired this year. Also $30. Also for C cup, but I can do customization, and if you want to request a different size, that's cool. $30 either, because they take me a few hours to make up. So handmade items, you gotta pay for the artist's time, and it's not just about paying for the supplies and that, like supporting artists. You get what I mean. You people know. You're switched on people, you know what I mean. Anyway, 1 month of Christmas. Hit me up for some Christmas gift shopping as well. I've got a whole bunch of but exfoliating body scrubber mitts and stuff in my store if you're interested in giving someone a waste-free 100% cotton shower scrubby. Yeah. I know you want one. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.